And the date is February 5th, right?
That's very good.
And the year is 1730. No, that's not the year. I know what year it is. It's 2015. Yeah, and I get it once I get started. If I get if I get the millennium correct, I can usually roll out the century and decade and year.
Sure.
So it's only 2015, February 5th. Yeah, we're moving into the year. Yeah, it's getting there. Cold, snowy. I don't know. We're through our heat problems. We're up at temperature. Actually, have my window open a little bit today too. It got so hot in the room, as it does periodically in this room.
You got a lot of flea power, though.
We got a lot of flea power. We got something going on. We got gremlins in the machine or something.
Gremlins.
You know, I know how to use my computer by trial and error. I have no idea. It's a black box as far as I'm concerned. I can get it to do what I want it to do, usually. And then if somebody asks, like, "Oh, can you get it? Can you just do this little bit of extra?" Then, and then it just ends up crashing everything. It's it's not the best way to learn to use a computer. Obviously, I mean, at some point in time, you should get serious about learning how the applications work and how they talk to each other, so you can figure out how all this stuff works. It's a mystery to me, but I mean, it looks like it's working now. We're 20 minutes late going on the air. That's okay. It's not like people are clamoring, getting angry out there in the audience. We want our show. We want our show.
Random thoughts.
But
I've got random thoughts right now.
But basically, playing with Spreecast. Also, a couple different web camera applications. Just trying some different things. I used to have it set where I could do. I don't know. Well, you're getting what you get right now. So let's just say that. Actually, I have kind of rigged up a little bit so I can switch from the little camera to a big camera by doing this. But this is actually cheating a little bit because I'm running cameras off two different computers.
Cheat away.
Oh, that looks really blurry too.
It works.
Is it coming into focus now? I don't know. I'm probably gonna.
What, your camera?
Yeah, that one looks really blurry compared to I don't know.
It does a little bit, yeah.
But that was but that's why you also get looks like I get two different angles here because I actually have cameras running on two different computers. But whatever it takes. Plus, by having the extra cameras going, we get the little audience effect going. You can see Shane down there without us having to put him up on the big screen like that. So now we see him up on the big screen, and then we put him back down on the little screen.
Oh man, we're
eventually
we're on our time, aren't we?
Yeah. So that's that. So it seems like we're just playing around doing a little bit of nothing. Yeah, we're doing a lot here. We're learning how to use our computer. This is episode 5.4. That's 40 episodes so far we've done. So, and that's 40 consecutive nights. Shane did have one night off. He had his birthday off, which was a Super Bowl Sunday. But other than that, Shane's been here 39 of the 40 nights. I've been here with you 40 nights in a row straight. I feel like it's like a flood, right? 40 days and 40 nights.
Yes.
Actually, and we survived.
It's all starting to make sense now.
Yeah, we're like Noah. We've got to. I don't know what that means. I have to just stop there before that gets.
Don't get biblical, please.
It did come up a little bit today. I had to stop myself from getting into a conversation with somebody, but there was a Twitter account. It's called Tweet of God, and it's and they're pretty funny tweets, and I put them on my Facebook page periodically. And he had one today. It was about how Republicans or conservatives it's okay for they support parents not vaccinating their kids, thereby infecting other kids, and then their kids get infected, and then possibly dying. They support that right to choose, but they don't support the right to choose for a woman to have an abortion or something. So he's trying to make some sort of, just some little thing about right to choose, and that they support one but not the other kind of thing. one of my Facebook friends responded to it, saying, "Yeah, I don't know if they, I would say they were offended by it, but of course, they took exception to it, as a conservative, But they started out, they go, seriously, as a conservative, blah 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 blah, and then my response to that was, I don't know if it was meant to be serious or not, but it was the word of God, so." But
So you just had to add to the.
yeah. But a tweet of God is actually a pretty popular. I mean, 100,000, maybe a million followers now at this point, and I see them a lot. They pop up on my Facebook a lot. I know, I have a lot of friends that independently. It's not like we all said, "Oh, let's all follow this," but it just turns out that we all, either follow Tweet of God or are familiar with Tweet of God. But it's a funny Twitter account. I mean, it's very I mean, yeah, it's a fun account. I mean, it's lighthearted, but it's also got a serious message. As a what's his name? I always want to call him Noel Coward, and I know it's not Noel Coward. It's the other guy, Oscar Wilde. I don't know why I want to call him Noel Coward, but Oscar Wilde says, if you want to tell people the truth, make them laugh. Otherwise, they'll try to kill you. And there's also a good chance they'll try to kill you anyway if you make them laugh. So, but hey, people don't want to hear the truth. We don't want to hear the truth, and we'll ignore the truth. As long as it makes us safe. Because a lot of times ignoring the truth is a way of we stay safe, because the truth can be scary. It reminds us that the world's a much more dangerous place than we'd like to think it is, or just it's a much more different place than we'd like to think it is, and that can be a really scary thing. And that kind of makes me think of this first story here, because it's about facing the truth and accepting things the way they are. But there's this Benjamin Franklin quote that says something. It gets twisted a little bit sometimes. People will hear it and they'll say, like, oh, if you trade security, if you trade away your liberty for security, you deserve neither. Is how people kind of think about it and hear it. And Benjamin Franklin actually has something pretty close to that, but it wasn't exactly that. It was a little bit more close. People who trade away essential liberty for temporary security usually end up and deserve neither. You certainly don't deserve any. But his is a little bit more, not that sometimes we do have to trade away our liberty for security, but it's trading away the essential liberty for temporary security. That's really the issue, because one, you never get it back. Nobody in power ever gives back power that they have. It's a fact of life. People that get power, it's hard to get them to give up power. So if they say, "Oh, we just need the power temporarily to get us through this situation," then and then we'll go back to things. Maybe go back to normal later. They never go back to normal. It's a ratchet that goes one way. It just gets tighter and tighter and tighter. And that's why you should never give up your liberties when you're scared. I mean, you give up your liberties because you, in a calm, reasonable, rational discussion, you recognize that, yes, that would be the right thing to do. Don't do it when you're scared. The USA Patriot Act is an abomination. I mean, it passed the Senate 98-1 or 99-1. I think it was 98-1 because there was an abstention. The one person who didn't go with it was Russ Feingold. And I always liked Russ Feingold from Wisconsin. Great guy. He got voted out of the Senate too, very next term. I think he was 1 or 2 terms in the Senate, and then he was out because he was too smart, too reasonable, they came after him. He understood that you don't make these decisions when you're scared. But part of it, we ended up with the TSA, and the TSA is just this nightmare organization. They're not the police. I mean, if you've been to an airport, look at the people who are the TSA. These people are not exactly the best shape of their lives. They're really not any more trained than mall security, but they have a lot of authority, and they can get away with a nightmare. There was a story here of a guy who wanted to file a complaint against the TSA, so they held him for 20 hours.
Really? 20 hours? Holy cow!
So it's this nightmare organization, and we can't get rid of them. We never should have had them. It's like taking our shoes off at the airport. What is that all about? One guy, wanted to have a bomb in his shoe, and they caught the guy. And then suddenly, he didn't get on the plane with the bomb in his shoe. They caught him, and but suddenly now we have to all take our shoes off at the airport. It seemed like what we had in place beforehand was working. We caught the guy. Why would we all of a sudden have to take our shoes off at the airport? It makes no sense. And then nothing that we do with it's security theater. It's to make you feel secure, and you're trading away all your essential liberties for this temporary sense of security, which it's not even temporary security. It's a temporary sense of security. It's not even real security. It's just a sense of security. And I could talk for hours. I can think about the body scanners that do nothing, and just that nothing they do does anything. But they end up taking away your fingernail clippers and. But they're not stopping any terrorism. It's just how many terrorists have they caught? None, because it's not a problem. It happened. It was like a one-time fluke thing, which they could have been caught with a little bit more alert people. Even James Wood, the actor, he picked out the terrorists on an earlier flight and said, "Hey, there's these guys here acting suspicious." Somebody could have looked into it. Their names would have come up because they were also acting suspicious, taking these flying glasses, which was known about. I mean, there was ways to connect all the dots long before it happened. And they did some reasonable things. One reasonable thing I think coming out of it was people who are they get a little more concerned if you buy like one-way tickets with cash. They say, oh, that's an interesting purchase, especially when a group of people or when there's a lot of one-way purchases on the same plane. Which these guys did. They are all sitting in first class, four guys, I guess, 4-man teams, 5-man teams, all sitting in first class, all purchased one-way tickets. It's highly suspicious. That should throw up a red flag. Whether their name, it doesn't have to be based on their names. Hey, any flight, if you've got 5 people in first class who have one-way tickets, that's a sign there's something going on. Because that doesn't happen. Anything out of the ordinary should throw up a little flag. But that's something you can, doesn't have to do with the person's name, doesn't have to be profiling. But they could have. But in general, it's all security theater. It really gets me going. TSA. There's lots of stories out there. This was just the most recent one. There was another one of a 5-year-old girl crying her eyes out as the TSA guy is trying to search her, and they're like, tell the father to stand back. There's a video of it. Somebody video was on the thing. It's like, why do we do this to people? What is the whole point of this? But it's a little people with little power, with little people with a lot of power, with no oversight, nothing, and it's like they're outside the law. It seems like it's like, we haven't even talked to Shane. Give Dutch a little chance. I mean, the issue you're kind of talking from before, but we'll go ahead and put your mic on, and I'll turn my mic off, and we'll let you do a little talking here while I catch my breath, if that'll work for you.
My mic is attacking. What do you want me to talk about? It was I mean, the TSA thing is to me is kind of crazy because they have all these measures that they take, and yet we still have many issues when it comes to security. So I do think that there's a need for security in order to make people feel safe. I think that that's the main part, whether or not that they are or not. Let's face it. If you're on a plane, you're not necessarily safe. You're up in the air, and lately that's been a concern all over the world. And so, so to have as many privileges as they do and to take them as seriously as they do, it still seems as if we have further that we need to go in order to make people comfortable along with being safe. I think that I remember when 9/11 happened, I was actually on my way there. It's like at the time I had a girlfriend who was actually working, not in the towers, but in a building that was adjacent to it. And my mother was also supposed to be there. So that's as far as I knew. So I knew that somebody who I cared for was there. Plus, I knew a number of people that unfortunately had passed. But so I was on my way to 9/11. I was going there. I wasn't going away from it like everybody else was, it seems. Um, you know, and I remember when I was traveling, not shortly after, because I had a New York State license. They pulled me right aside, and had me take off my shoes. They wanted to take off my socks. I said I wasn't going to take off my socks. That kind of raised their eyebrow, and I'm like, it can raise your eyebrow all you want. I'm willing to stand here, let you wand me as long as you need me, but I'm not going to go in this direction as to where I'm going to take off my socks and all this. But anyways, to make a long story short, they do a lot of different things, and it's not necessarily. I guess it's not meant to be nice. I guess it's not meant to make you comfortable. I guess they do have a purpose, I'm sure that their measures are for a reason, but it would be nice for the company, at least the directors of the TSA, to actually explain that. I think that would be beneficial for their image. To say, hey, look, we understand that we're making things kind of uncomfortable, but this is why we're doing it, as opposed to we're doing it because we can, and that's what we're supposed to do. And so anyways, so that's my part on TSA. As far as today, challenging. challenging. I am doing my best to not say I had a bad day. So I come up with different words. I'm running.
Embrace the experience.
Yes,
Embrace the experience.
I am embracing the fact that we have gone through every challenge possible this day. And so I'm hoping that tomorrow doesn't go in the same direction and it goes a little bit better. We had to, we were gonna shoot a risen strength earlier today. We're not able to do that because of some technical difficulties, which we had technical difficulties. Yeah, I can say that. We had technical difficulties last week from a different server, so it's been challenging, but you know what? It kind of put some resolve into me. And when we do finally shoot it tomorrow, I plan on being on top of my game. So there's a reason why things happen. I don't know the answers. My higher power does, and so I just try to stay out of the way and radically accept what is going on. And we'll look at tomorrow.
So very good. So the glad you made through today. And I'm glad I made through today. And it was embrace the experience. That's what it's got to come down to.
It's not over yet.
Not over yet. Still got to get through it. The other thing I want to talk to is completely unrelated to TSA, but although there, I guess the message from there is the Franklin quote, or the bastardization of the Franklin quote, or a Thomas Jefferson quote. I want to say Richard Flank. Maybe it was Thomas Jefferson, because they're like the same guy in my head. But when you trade away your essential liberty for temporary security, you deserve neither. Just don't do it. I mean, you should really ask yourself if I need to do this, and that's why you don't make those decisions when you're scared. You make them beforehand, or wait until things calm down. This is a thing about Kickstarter. There's a lot of these. This Kickstarter is an official, it's a brand name, but there's this crowdsourcing. There's a crowdfunding, crowdsourcing. Indiegogo is another one. Sometimes you have to be careful with them, and I'm not going to call this one a scam. And these people don't actually come out and call this a scam, but with some of these, it's possible to run a scam on them because there's, especially like Kickstarter or even Indiegogo, it's not like an investment opportunity. People think of it, sometimes they think they're investing. What you're doing is you're literally giving somebody money on the promise that they're going to develop a product. They don't have to develop a product. the product could be impossible to develop. They don't have to have, as far as you know, they don't have to have any intention of doing it. I mean, they're supposed to have the intention of doing it. Um, but these things also have different setups, or there's some that they have to meet a minimum threshold of like their goal. If they can reach their fundraising goal, then they get their money. If they're not, then the money comes back. There's other options for that. They can just keep all the money, but so there's different things you have to look out for there. But the bottom line is, this is not when you give them money on Kickstarter, especially, it's not a promise to do anything. It's just you're just giving somebody money who's asking you for money. Say, okay, and what they do is they put together a little sales package. It includes a video, and description of what they want to do. But they're not legally obligated to do it. I mean, they might not be able to do it. That's part of the point of this stuff. It's the crowdsourcing. And they're like, hey, yeah, I want to try this. I think I can do it. And they try to convince you that they could give it a good try. And then you give them a little bit of money. Well, here's this one for these high-tech laundry balls. And what they are, you can see the little picture here. There's little balls, and then there's these pellets that are inside of them. They're like little stones, rocks. But you don't use detergent. You just use these things, and they're good. It's good for 1,000 loads, and it's supposed to. And the thing that's really disturbing is the explanation of how this thing is supposed to work. I mean, not that everybody should have a degree in science, but the language that they use to describe what's happening here is. Let's see if I can even blow it up here, because it was just even too much for me to believe that they could actually say this.
I turned a year older not too long ago. There we go. That's better.
It says as of this writing, they had raised $60,000 from 850 people, and I'm not sure why that window just opened up there, or any of these windows. I don't know what's going on. But it uses something called bioceramics. Okay, made from the earth. Okay, that sounds interesting. Where's this thing here? It reduces contaminated waste filtered back into the water supply. Okay, because it doesn't use laundry detergent. It's safe. Okay, that sounds good. How does it work? Here's these words. It uses these little balls. You can see a little picture here. Supposedly react with water to produce far infrared rays that effectively reduce negative ions in the water of your laundry machine, which raises pH levels to 8.5 or greater. This process shrinks the water molecule clusters to a size that allows dirt and soils to be soaked free naturally. Like, what?
How'd that go again?
If you read that and you don't understand what you read, that's a red flag. I mean, you could say, well, I don't really understand science, so somebody who understands science would understand what that means. Well, then double check if that's true. Find somebody who understands science. Say, is this gibberish, or do this is gibberish? They just threw some words together. I'm surprised they didn't mention quantum fluctuations and wormholes or anything, and then so just the words, it's just completely implausible. Forget the fact that they might not be able to do this. If this is what their description of how it works is, it doesn't work, because this is gibberish. I mean, it's one thing to say that I'm going to try something that's really hard to do, but you read it and go, oh, yeah, that could happen, I guess. But it's going to be really hard to do. You read this, it's complete gibberish, which is why they say this might be a scam, because this person. But this could just be maybe it's not a scam. Maybe it's just a completely crazy person who thinks that this will work. And I don't want to pick on them necessarily here and say that this is a problem, because again, I'm not interested in picking out like individual things, but this is really a warning that when you go to something like Kickstarter, I mean, it's a pig in a poke. You're giving money to something, you got to be willing just to give that money away and never get any kind of return on it whatsoever. That's just what it is. But if you do care, at least look into it a little bit to see if it's plausible. Just not, oh, this sounds great, I'm going to do this. Make sure it's plausible then, if you really care. I mean, if you don't mind just throwing money away, then that's another thing. Go ahead, throw money away. We don't care. But it's not just this one. Again, I don't want it to be like that.
But before you go, I could see that little spherical thing there? It almost looks like the Death Star.
Yeah, those are the little balls. Those are the laundry balls.
I could go ahead and I could take
My God. My mic. I could take.
Oh, that's my mic is on. So you're talking and my mic is on.
That's why I thought I was God for a second. I could take a bunch of pencils, take off the erasers, and throw them in the little Death Star thing, and I bet you that they would believe that more than what that little article said. You know what I mean? Infrared this, infrared? Seriously? You know what I mean? It's like the minute that I heard that, I was like, am I reading this right? But people, do unfortunately are gullible to some things, and I'm not saying that this is definitely a scam or nothing like that, but I definitely had a number of flags going up, at the same time.
Yeah.
You don't. Oh.
No microphones were on there that whole time. Okay.
I told you the night was not over.
It's because you turned your microphone off. You had a microphone on.
I'm supposed to turn it off when you're speaking.
Yeah, but you could notice that mine was off. It says right there on your screen that my microphone is off.
Yeah, but who's on first?
But you're turning yours off when you see that there's none on.
I don't see. How do I see that there's none on? Turn yours off.
You got a little icon there on my picture.
I see the mic. It's white.
When you see that, that's when it's off. It's only red on yours.
What? If mine's red and it's crossed out, that means I'm done.
That means yours is out. If you see anybody else's mic, then that means theirs is out too.
And you have a cross there. Why do they do that?
I don't know. But here, when I turn it off, watch the little thing. And then now you should see the one from the other second computer. That one has got a white microphone because that one's out,
Right.
and the other one's out there.
Yeah, but you abuse the screen, so it's like when you go to click on, you quadruple click.
Yeah, I know that's an issue. But okay, so that's so a couple of just nonsensical stories there. But if you're going to be doing things like Kickstarter or just anything in general, just be willing to ask some questions, ask some reasonable questions. Does this thing even make sense? If it doesn't make sense to you, try and find somebody else that makes sense to. Don't give money away to something you don't understand. Or do it. I don't care. But don't come back later and say, well, I got scammed. Well, did you understand what you were giving money to? No. Oh, okay. Well, that might have a lot to do with it. There, you didn't understand what you were getting involved in. All right. What we got going on here? The Twitter update. I'm afraid to check the Twitter count. We've been
don't do it today.
We've been as high as 960, and then it started getting down. I think it was 954 yesterday.
Oh God, it's gonna be 702.
It is 950. It's going down. It was 954 yesterday.
So. We're still going.
So down to I haven't seen it lower than 9. That's the lowest I've ever seen. 950.
Sort of like AOPA, the plane organization that goes down.
Yeah. So we're as low as you could. They can get a lot lower, but this is as low as it's been ever. But remember, a couple weeks ago I got rid of 300 followers. So maybe they're starting to come back and haunt me. By saying that. But you can get hold of us at 15189-666-175. That's 189-666-175. That's good. The U.S. and Canada 15189-666-175. 3 to 4 during the week, 3 to 5 on the weekends, 11 to midnight every night after the show. Which we need to go ahead and end the show now because it's almost 11 o'clock and the lines are going to open. And they're going to start ringing. I know they are. Tonight's the night.
Oh.
Good night.
I'm thinking about drinking.
Good night, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow night, I hope. No promises.
Yeah, if I'm not arrested.